Hey everyone, I'm Marlee. I'm a med student and also a huge big time plant parent. Like at one point last year, I think I had a little over 100. Since then though, I've like toned it down. I've given away a lot of them as like birthday presents and used up a lot of them. Like a lot of them are like herbs, basil, dill, whatever, stuff like that, cilantro. And now I'm like hovering at about 60. But I'm still definitely like learning how best to take care of them. And I'm by no means a pro, like at all. But like it's been almost a year and all of these little plantitos are still alive, thriving even. So I guess I've got like a greenish thumb, but it's a lot easier to have a green thumb, or think you do, if you pick the right plants. So I'll get to my like 3 favorite easiest houseplants in a second. But first though, I gotta say, many of my classmates have gotten into plants this past year. And I think that's for a couple of reasons. Med students, like we may be really busy, but luckily, most plants aren't very needy, so that's not a huge barrier. And also, overall, plants just make your space feel just better, less sterile, more cozy. You know, like before I filled out our place with plants, it just felt like blah. I don't know how else to describe it, you know? Just 4 walls, and it didn't seem very homey, you know? And maybe it's just me, but I actually really like waking up and looking, you know, checking on a few of them, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, a new leaf! And feeling all like helpful when you go over and you realize, oh, one's looking a little droopy. And then you give it some water and you check back in a few hours and it's just straightened all back up and you're like, oh, you know, it's nice, especially with med school, medical education in general being such a marathon and tons of delayed gratification. And actually taking care of plants is something like tangible that you can do that has a sort of like immediate impact on something right in front of you. And so you get kind of this funny little sense of accomplishment. Like I may have barely scraped by on literally every exam this last semester, and I may be 3,000 Anki reviews behind, but you better believe my Monstera is looking fine. And besides that, I read this article recently about how plants literally like make you feel better. Like they actually lower your blood pressure, they clean the air, they raise your productivity, improve attendance. Like I really needed that. I'm looking at you, 8 a.m. mandatory lectures. Yeah. Anyway, I'll link this article in the description box below if you're curious. So obviously there are lots of benefits to plant parenting, but it's kind of intimidating to try to get into this if you've never had a plant before. I get it. That was me like a year ago. So here are 3 of my favorite plants that are simple to care for, hardy, and easy on the eyes. First up, pothos. Ding. There are lots of different kinds, the classic one being golden pothos. It does just fine in most lighting situations, doesn't get too mad if the watering is a little irregular. And when it's happy, it grows like crazy, which is great if you need those little like new leaf dopamine bursts like I was talking about earlier every so often. Like I love that. This little guy you can see in the back here, like, oh, it's a new one right there. Yeah, I know. I'm a little too invested. Next up, snake plant. I swear they're invincible. Like literally can chill in the darkest corners of your apartment and do just fine. Watering, like what even is water? I'm kidding a little bit, but like, I mean, they're not cacti. They do need a little bit, but they're generally very low maintenance. Number 3, we have ZZ plant. They grow from rhizomes, which I literally Googled before this video because I didn't know what they were. Turns out they're modified stems that grow horizontally through the soil. And they are basically the camels of the plant world because they store water and stuff. So they are drought resistant, which means if you water irregularly or you're like worried about forgetting to water, get a ZZ plant. And also they're not picky with their light situation. Low light, high light, they can pretty much handle anything. And I know I said 3, but I had to give an honorable mention to bunny ear cacti, not only because they're cute. And this one isn't particularly pokey, it's more fuzzy. Cacti are great for anyone who has a sunny, nice little window spot and are worried about remembering to water like ever. They're slow growing, but cute, tough, hard to go wrong. And there you have it. I hope this convinced you all that plants are worth having, even for med students. And if it did, go ahead, hit the like button down below, subscribe if you haven't already. And with that, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it. Love you all. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day and catch you next week.